Welcome back to the show. Thank you so much for being with us. Well, it has been a while since we have had this organization in with us, but we've always enjoyed the relationship with them, and we're going to be trying to do some more things with them to help them. It is Freedom Service Dogs. You can check out the website, freedomservicedogs.org, and I'm telling you, just a great organization, have helped many, many people. And to learn more about that, we've got Chris Nelson with us today. So, Chris, thanks for being with us today. How are you?
Thanks for having me, Scott. I'm well.
Now, what is your actual title?
I'm the president and CEO of
President and
Service Dogs
CEO.
of America.
All right. So, man, it's great to have you. Tell us a little bit about you and your background and what made you get involved with Freedom Service Dogs.
Sure. I've been a nonprofit guy from the beginning. So I was in college and started working for outdoor wilderness schools, Outward Bound, Knowles. Those are both nonprofits. So just trying to help people sort of connect to wilderness, get outside, and change their lives through those kinds of experiences. And that progressed. I was working with young people in that environment. So that progressed into working with young people in residential settings.
Okay.
So I built a long career helping young people, mostly in the foster care system, but youth that were system connected. And over time, I sort of burnt out and was looking for something that was still true to my passion. And both my grandfathers and my father are veterans from World War II and the Vietnam era, and a lot of my buddies served. And so this is a give-back opportunity for me to help support our veterans who gave so much for our country. And so dogs
well, I
also
say,
help.
You can't go wrong being with dogs. Yeah,
dogs don't hurt at all.
Now, let's talk about the different breeds of dogs. Let's give folks a little bit of pull the curtain back, so to speak, and show them inside. What type of breeds work best?
Yeah, sure. So we primarily are using Labrador retrievers. Okay. So for the first, 32 years of the organization, we had a program where we were taking rescue dogs from shelters and training them to be service dogs. And as you can imagine, a lot of those partnerships weren't successful. It was really hard to take a dog that had a lot of trauma and anxiety from a shelter environment and turn it into a really good service dog. And our standards are really high for these service dogs. And so in 2019, we started a breeding program, and we breed not exclusively, but mostly Labrador retrievers. So we see yellows and we see blacks and browns. Right. And then recently, in the past few years, we started adding golden retrievers. So
that's what I have.
Yeah, Goldens are pretty great.
Yeah.
And so the difference between the two, right? Labs are pretty smart, and they work really hard for food, and they like to work. And so we can train them using positive reinforcement, giving them treats every time they do something right, and they're really loyal. And then Goldens, samesies, except not as hungry all the time, but really like the companionship. And so, we're doing dogs for veterans with PTS, first responders with PTS, folks with mobility challenges, and young people with autism spectrum disorder. So our Autism Assist program is really about a dog that is there to sort of break when somebody gets overstimulated, break that pattern. And so Goldens work really well in therapeutic environments, right? They want to be pet, they want to be touched. And so we're looking at these sort of crossbreedings in terms of dogs that will work as a service dog in the traditional sense, but also dogs that will do therapeutic work. We have dogs that we're placing in schools with our first responders, school resource officers, a really cool partnership with Douglas County Sheriff's Office. And our first dog there, Guster with Brian at Crest Hills Middle School, is just a wild success. And so we're looking at behavioral characteristics in these dogs for our breeding program to ensure that they want to work really hard for the person, but then also want to be around people. And so that way, we've got the whole spectrum of dog characteristics and behavior, that they can be super loyal, work really hard, do the tasks, but also want the love, depending on the need of the person.
All right. It's amazing how sensitive dogs can be to different things. My wife just had a couple of surgeries at the beginning of the year, and our goal, she just senses when something's wrong. Like, she can just tell when she gets up a little slow or sits down and just not feeling. Come right over to her. I mean, it's crazy, and that's without any real professional training. So then when you put on the training side of it, I mean, these dogs are smart animals, first of all.
Yeah, people do a lot of how do you make that work? Because our partnerships are really strong. All of our clients are talking about this dog has changed their life in some very meaningful way. And people say, how do you match the dog to the person? How do you know that the dog is going to end up being a good partner to that person in terms of being a service animal? There is a part of it that's just magic, because dogs bring that to the table, where you get to know the dog. There's something about it. Maybe you can't put your finger on it. but it can tell when you're stressed. It can tell when you can't train that into a dog. You can train tasks, but dogs know when you're having a hard time. They know when you're sad, if you're scared. And so when working with people with PTS, the dog knows when you're feeling stressed in the grocery store, and it'll come close and let you know it's there. And that is the part of this that is just the magic of working with dogs.
Wow.
Yeah, it's cool.
Again, if you're just joining us, Chris Nelson is with us. He's the president and CEO of Freedom Service Dogs. Once again, you can check out their website at freedomservicedogs.org. All right, training. So you, 10 weeks or so, 12 weeks, you start getting into some training?
From the get. I mean, right when these dogs were born. So we have a breeding department. We're working through genetics and also behavioral characteristics to make breeding decisions. The dogs are born on site, and right from the jump, they're learning socialization skills. They're being exposed to, we've got a cat that lives in the nursery, for example, so they're being exposed to all kinds of novel things from the day they're born.
Wow.
Being reinforced in the behaviors that we want to see out of dogs. And so that starts day one. Hour one. And so they're with us while they're being vaccinated, getting some of that socialization, making sure they're medically well, looking at behavioral stuff, so seeing that they can socialize without being hyper-reactive, without freaking out, for example, when they see something new. And then they've got all kinds of different paths they take in their training. Some dogs go at about that 8 to 9 week point, go to prison. So we're working with incarcerated folks that are part of a professional training program where the dogs are actually in prison with somebody who's incarcerated, getting training from that 8 or 9 weeks. Anywhere from that point, it's 6 weeks of training up to a full year with one of our programs.
Wow.
Yeah. And then they go to a puppy raiser. So they're with a volunteer out in the community. We always need more that are reinforcing that training. Obviously, we provide a lot of support, living with that dog, teaching that dog how to be a dog, and also some of the fundamentals. So then when they come back on site, 12 to 14 months old, we've got a team of professional trainers that then are working on all of the cues, opening doors, getting the fridge, coming in between your legs. There are a million different tasks these dogs can do, and so the dogs are being trained in all the foundations of being a service dog, and then once they're matched with their client, they're custom trained.
Wow.
So that can be
cool.
anything that client needs. We're working on making sure that dog can provide it.
I mentioned to you before we came on air that we've had a few of the vets in with their dogs, and I just remember one talking about how, and again, PTSD, different things, coming into their apartment or home, and this dog would go and reach up, turn on lights.
Yeah.
And it would actually go through the house a little bit before, the vet would walk in their own home.
Yep.
And to use a police term, whatever, SWAT term, they clear the house.
That's right.
I mean,
yeah.
And that puts the vet at ease.
That's right. I mean, it's not just that. So one of the great rewards of doing this work, I work with amazing people, and we've got a really large group of stakeholders. I get to meet amazing people, is to get to know our clients and build relationships with them. And so I hear stories all the time of what these dogs do. There's a gentleman who came to, we'll talk a little bit about our clay shoots.
Yeah, we're getting to that.
Yeah, we got to do some of that. A gentleman who came to a clay shoot in Texas. We've got 3 right now, one in Denver, one in Houston, and then one in Midland, Texas.
Okay.
And one of our clients came to a shoot, and there's a group on the ground there, a committee in Midland, Texas, that helps put on the shoot. They do a really good job of honoring our veterans, and so Thomas and Valor came, and Thomas was given a gift of a Sporting Clays shotgun. And it was nicely Cerakoted and just beautiful, had an American flag on it. It was a gorgeous gun, and he said, I don't know what I'm going to do with this, and it was a gift. And I was like, you can do whatever you want with it, man. Because of his service dog, and this is only 5 months after he got it, he had gone out of the house and gone to the range and shot that gun for the first time in decades. Is now going to concerts, and so these experiences of whether it's a dog doing something like clearing the house for somebody because that's a need, or helping them get out in public, it's the gift that keeps me going in terms of this work.
Right. How cool is that?
It's really cool.